Good morning, class. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd, and this morning I'm going to help you with math lesson 11-7. It's on page 673 in your math book. We are going to be able to subtract three-digit numbers up to 1,000 and be able to compare two three-digit numbers. Well, we've been studying different strategies to learn how to subtract three-digit numbers. What are some of the strategies that you learned? Did you say number line? Did you say place value blocks? And did you say regrouping? How about mental math? And so let's see which one works the best. We are going to use what we've learned to do word problems. If you need some help reading the problems and you have somebody with you, ask them to help you figure out the problems and to think about what they are asking you. The problem on page 673 says, you can read this with me, Jody wants to bake 350 muffins. She bakes one batch of 160 muffins and one batch of 145 muffins. How many more muffins does Jody need to bake? Well, solve any way you choose and show your work. Now if you were Jody and you had to bake, let's put down the total she has to bake up here. Think about it. We're trying to bake 350 muffins. That's the total that she wants to bake. Well, she baked 100. Let me write this down here. She baked 160 muffins. And then she also baked 145 muffins. So let's add these together and see how many she baked. All right. 5 plus 0 is 5. 6 plus 4 is, did you say 10? Put down the 0, carry the 1. And 1, 2, 3, 305. Wow, she baked a lot of muffins, but it's still not 350. How many more does she have to get to 350? Well, looking at that problem, I could probably use regrouping. I think I'll use a number line. No, let me just show you how to use regrouping. We're going to subtract 350 minus 305 in order to find out how many more muffins she needs to bake. If we just do it this way, 350 minus 305, we can regroup by saying, oh, can't subtract there. We'll have to get a 110 from that. And we'll have 10 here. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 minus 0 is 4. And 3 minus 3 is 0. So she only needs to bake 45 more muffins. You could look at the number and say, I bet a lot of you did this in your mind. You said, well, 50, you got 300, and we count on from 305. Let me erase this right here. If I were doing it on a number line, I would start at 305 here. because that's how many I have. And I just want to get to 350. So I wouldn't add another 100, I'll just go by tens. 10, which is 3, 15, 20, 3, 25, 3, 35, 3, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, which is plus 5. So we're adding 10, 20, 30, 45 to get to 350. So those are two different ways that you could use to solve that problem. Both ways, your answer would be 45. Now this is called a two-step word problem because you had to add first before you could subtract, or you could just subtract twice. I could have said 350 minus 160, then get the answer and then subtract 145. But the easiest way for me to do it is just to add it together. Show me what is your easiest way. Let's look at the next page. If you need to copy any of this, just pause the video and go ahead and do that. Let's look at page 674. Well, at the top of the page, if you read it, it says that grade 2 wants to sell 10 more tickets to the school play than grade 1. Grade 1 sold 476 tickets and grade 2 sold 439 tickets. How many more tickets does grade 2 have to sell to reach their goal? And then it goes by the step-by-step of how to figure out that problem. I won't write it on the board because you have a book, right? So, how do I make sense of the problem? You have to think about it. An easy first step is to answer the hidden question. What is the second grade goal? They want to sell more tickets. They want to sell 10 more tickets than first grade. So we have to figure out, well, how many did first grade sell? You know, we're in competition now. So they already sold 476 tickets. And you want it plus 10, 486. So that's the number that we're trying to get to, 486. That's one step. Then the next step is to find out how many more tickets we need to sell. We already sold 439. So you could subtract 439 from 486. And then they told you the answer is 47 because they regrouped. And this is in your book. That's why I didn't work it out step by step. But now, and you don't really need this because it's in your book, but if you want to take a look at it, pause the video. I'm going to help you do number 1 on page 674. Kim had 455 shells. First, she gives 134 of the shells to her friend. Then she finds 54 more shells. Wow. This is some thinking to do. First, let's start off with what did she have? Kim has 455 shells. Now write shells. This is going to be 2 steps because It says she does two things. First, she gives them away. Well, if she started with 455 and she gives some away, that's subtracting 134. Right? Whenever you give something away, you subtract. You don't add. So that's an easy subtracting problem. Do you have to regroup? No. 5 minus 4 is 1. 5 minus 3 is 2. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So then she had 321. So now she has 321. So she has these many shells now. But then she finds 54 more shells. So more, are we going to subtract it or are we going to add it? If she found some more, she didn't give anything away, she found it. So we're going to add it. 54. So 1 plus 4 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. And 3 plus nothing is 3. 375 shells. Now, what will you find first? Which operation will you use? Well, I already went over your steps for thinking. Think about it. Don't just look at the numbers and throw them out there. You have to think about what's happening in your problem in order to figure out what you should do. On the next page, 675, it says use the table to solve this problem. Is it okay for me to erase this now? I'm going to help you get started on this table. It's talking about wild animals, just like in our reading book, our super magazine. We have the Arctic wolf that weighs 176 pounds, the black bear that weighs 270, the grizzly bear that weighs 990, the mule deer that weighs 198, and the polar bear that weighs 945. Now, that's in your table. Use the table to solve the problems. Then it'll tell you the names, and you find the numbers in that table. How much heavier is the grizzly bear than the Arctic wolf and the black bear together? Okay, they had to throw that in so to give you some extra work to do. Well, the grizzly bear is pretty heavy. How heavy is he? He is 990 pounds. That's what it says up there. But we're going to, it says the Arctic wolf and the black bear together. So let's add and find out how much the Arctic wolf and the black bear weigh together. Add that together. You do that for me. Did you do it? 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 7 is 14. Put down the 4, carry the 1 to the hundreds place. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Still, 446 pounds of animals, Arctic wolf and bear together. Now, to find out how much heavier the bear is, still 990, 446, he's still pretty heavy. We're just going to subtract. And yes, we have to regroup here because 6 is bigger than 0. So let's get one of these and change it into 10 ones. 10 minus 6 is 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. Wow, 544 more pounds. He is still heavier than 2 of the other animals put together. So, show your work. Go ahead if you need to copy that. Now, I'm going to erase this and see if you can figure out the next one on your own. How much less does a black bear weigh than the weight of 2 mule deer? So, what do we need to add together? It says 2 mule deer. A mule deer weighs what? 198, and it says 2 of them. So add that together. A black bear weighs 270. Put the largest number at the top, and then the next number and subtract. See what you get. Now, let me go on to number 4. How much more does a polar bear weigh than an Arctic wolf, a black bear, and a mule deer put together? So that sounds like 3 animals you need to add together, their weights, and then subtract it from how much a polar bear weighs. Polar bears are very heavy. So, you know how to add 3 two-digit numbers. How can that help you add 3 three-digit numbers? I know you can do it. Okay, on the back, there is a problem with a truck. Maybe you can do that one. It's not very hard. Just takes a little thinking and a little reading. I won't go over that today, but see if you can do those 2 problems on that page and send me a picture of it. I want to see how you're doing. And I hope I see you on Zoom. Have a good rest of your day.